things that are going to hold him back is the communication basis, as you mentioned, moving from a Spanish-speaking lineup to a full English-speaking lineup. So that's, I think, going to be something that will take some time to get used to. I'm not sure whether the RMR is going to be the one where it unlocks, but if it is, then it's going to be in one of these kind of matches where ENCE are probably walking in as the favourites. Dwayne, would you say that they're going to take this best of one?
Yeah, I think so. They've got an unbelievable track record in best of one so far this year, winning 14 and losing 3, Jay. Like, come on, that's unreal.
Well, it still could be 4 if Falcons want to play up. Let's see where it goes here. Pistol round, ENCE on the CT start of things. Falcons, of course, you mentioned they would love this kind of a map up. Let's see whether it will be the map that gets their second victory, rather, on the board here in IEM Road to Rio. Valde swinging forward, USP tapping forward, doing damage towards MBK, but not quite drawing out a kill.
You could just see that they're trying to toy the CTs into getting some further aggression. Valde finally getting that tap down onto MBK. There's still another Glock player down there at the bottom of ramp.
Crispy headshots begin, continuing to hunt on for even more, but unable to really spot anybody here from the T side. Just that first engagement, and they've backed off, looking towards a B play instead.
I know that you've got your util down for Mako. Those flashes are going to have to be absolutely perfect, even to spot out this first player in dycha.
Taps on, not headshots, just damage being done. Masuta turns on Deer and does find maden the same. Python rushing back Snappi, who does fall to Haji's part of Maka engages some Pious, and Valde in a 1-on-4.
Oh, what a crunch going down to that B site after Valde over at A to the top of ramp was able to give them the opening man advantage. None of those anchors even struggling to be able to get away with one. Valde tried his best to get the retake on.
One pick found, looking to hunt down the next. Maka's made his way through the smoke. Does about evade Valde. Good shots back on towards that one man. Maka forced to run away and does lose his life. Masuta's extremely low. Valde's got a kill and he's caught the clutch as well. That's a full-on ace for ENCE to kick things off.
How has that happened? My goodness, how has that actually happened? That's a 1v4. That looked like it was done. There should have been no way possible that Valde wins that round, and somehow, Jay, he makes it happen. That's even better than the chopper one.
I don't know about that one, mate. We've been blessed with 2 fantastic pistols today. Beauty of a round. ENCE already involved when Falcons felt like they had them on the ropes, almost knocked dead to rights. That is a hell of a clutch.
And that should have just never been possible. And it perhaps shows that Falcons are just getting too aggressive here. Rather than playing the post plant, you've got Maka charging down towards CT spawn. They could have played it so much more carefully. And instead, that's come to back them so hard into a corner.
Well, at least Falcons got the bomb plant, so we will be seeing the rifles. The force will come through. Galil, scouts, no AKs, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to be too fast at that, considering they just lost the round. Bigger things to think about. ENCE dishing out the damage early by the nades, past those smokes and beyond the ramp control. Falcons forced to fall back and again play towards B.
It has to be noted that D doesn't have any nades down here on B, being that initial site defender. So he's going to have to try and take some contact just by himself to bring players into the fold. Falcons grouping up once again, but now the info play. ENCE are going to start aggressing further forward.
Maden leaning in as D sees the Molotovs being sent back towards him, gets behind the AC. Smokes in some Pious with the kill D with a follow-up bomb drop deep in the bomb site. Back up on the backstab as well. Slowly closes in the pincers. Falcons don't know that they're dead. NBK knows now. Bomb plant even denied by that backstab. And Maka in a 1v5. Pinned in a corner with no ace clutch for him. It's a 2-0 for ENCE.
And this is where we start talking about the chain reaction. The fact that that pistol should have been Falcons. It doesn't happen, but you do get a bomb plant, so okay. Let's force it up, let's keep the pressure back on, and you're not dropping a single individual. This is ENCE now starting to farm up some money, get some confidence under their belt, allow themselves to strike really early on in this best of one.
That's the 2-0 start. Falcons down to the eco. At least have the nade stack. Rolling Thunder could put down up towards that top of ramp position. A little bit of damage being done to Valde, but nothing major. M4 versus pistols, no Kevlar involved, so it's easy pickings for him to pick up Masuta. Counter utility as well, done the damage towards the Falcons camp. So formality round here from all involved. Valde and Snappi just making light work of these T-sign players. And again, it's all 5 alive for ENCE.
And this is where Falcons have got to start setting the pace. One of the maps that they played quite a bit at in the conference was Vertigo. Wasn't a map, unfortunately, for them that was able to get them into Pro League. And for Falcons, just making these drastic changes of new IGL, a more experienced upgrade in Masuta 2 to help them at this level of competition. And this is where you prove it. You took on K23 in the game yesterday. That was a little bit of a sitter, didn't get challenged massively, but this is a different kettle of fish.
Flashes up and over, nades being sent up. Gaps, no smokes to work with here for Snappi. Counteraction utility will keep him at bay. NBK walks up into the ramp control, sees the sprays through from ENCE is coming down. Snappi does get caught in the end. That's a start out for the Falcons.
NBK putting some further pressure towards the top of ramp, making it difficult for ENCE to find the response when it comes to the trade frag. Even that spam coming closer, Valde can't really overextend.
NBK can though, and that's what he's going to attempt to do. Moving up, seeing the smokes down. There's Maden. Picked up all-important frag. I don't think was spotted there at the oranges. Valde will be spotted right there by NBK for the triple. Rolling back the years, it seems. The IG out of the Falcons can't quite get the quadra or the ace, but it don't really matter. Haji and Maka have them all marked, and that's another confident round, a first confident round here for the Falcons.
Very disciplined coming through from NBK. You could see the way that he slow walks up to the site, has some good crosshair placement, and just that readability of where ENCE have been able to move over and get themselves into tight positions towards that ace site. Ends up with a triple. And ENCE, while it was 3 rounds in a row from them, it's been answered back quickly from Falcons. That's a statement from NBK.
Open the M4s. Try and take challenge back. Falcons. AKs will try press in towards the ramp control. Incendiary sent down. Haji at 22 points of HP. Nades back. NBK still abusing that flash assist from Maka to get another entry up here towards ramp. Valde down.
He's looking dangerous, and this is something that ENCE are going to have to focus their attention on. Maden with the backstab. I like this info play, though.
He's going to have to wait here, though. The Falcons are considering a rotate. Will they check T-spawn? Oh, no, they won't. So much to gain, but he only gets a single frag with the info that Maka's given up. A 4-on-3 now. Rotations will have to get called back from Dia, but nobody else joins him here.
Dia needs to get as much support out of that as possible. Unfortunate for Maden. Looked like he was at least going to get a couple. Dia going to get it set up for a flash. Thinks about a prod in.
Smokes up, nade on Haji. Kill found, even standing. Bomb trying to commit to the bomb site. NBK continues to press up here at the A site. Bomb plant might be secured to a backstab here, or they might just rotate towards the A site in gen with the bomb yet to commit truly. And NBK at the end, cut the rotates, get Snappi, engage upon some Pious. Make it a triple. Man, he has stepped up in this early game.
He's looking beautiful. Look at that. Another sick round coming through from NBK. And this is what you want out of a veterans player, a good fragger on this Falcons side, to be the guy to look up to in the important games. Because it has to be said from Falcons, they haven't played that many Tier 1 opposition teams. They played OG in that quarterfinal game in the RMR. Outside of that, that's probably the only one that you could add to the tally.
7 kills for NBK, and just on these first 2 rounds the Falcons have started with. Bit disconcerting that it's not one of their star players, but overall Falcons are getting the rounds, and that's what's important. Forcing ENCE down to the eco. Deagle's in for them. 1 kill for Masuta. Dia reveals himself ahead of that smoke. Does catch off Masuta and doing damage to Maka. Makes it a 4-on-4 and an AK that can get recovered, or just about actually. The nades and the Molotovs will send him packing.
Decent with those nades, and that's given themselves some leverage now. They can start the mid-walk forward. You've got some Pious on a tight angle waiting for the pixel.
There you go, some Pious. Headshot not connecting. NBK gets another kill. Finally put down by Dia. Python. Instead they're in towards that mid control and catch this man off guard. At least get some sort of trade back for the Falcons here.
They don't want to run into the stack at all, and Dia down onto 10 points of health is going to get pressured from all sides. Down in mid and from the stairs. You can't even imagine that he's going to get another pick.
Footsteps are being heard here by Dia's part. Recognizing they might have rotated away from that mid position, so yes, they'll get the map control back, they'll get the info. Falcons look to turn their heads towards that B site from the stairs.
Maka leading that charge. ENCE with that stack over isn't going to find much at all. They do have a saved in AK, so at least there's that much to work with come the next round. The Falcons are going to tie it up at 3 apiece.
Thea's going to try hold some contest. Molotov sent back off the girder. Should deny the bomb. Plant with the kill found on Maka. 13 seconds. Pass that AK back towards Snappi. Hadji's got to prioritize that bomb plant. Snappi will go down. And Python marks off the incoming rotations and make it a triple against the pistols. Damage done to Falcons, but they still end up with 3. Equaled up against ENCE.
And we saw Python joining the Heretics team right towards the end of when that started to peter off. We know that Maka was a part of that as well. One of the teams that did very well in some of the early RMRs before going over to Unicorns and Love, before finding his way back on a French team here at Falcons. One of the stronger players that we saw in Vertigo in recent history. And also when I think back to the game we had yesterday against K23, he was one to watch out for.
Well, watch out for maden in this round. He's just mowed through Maka and Python. Immediate kills. NBK also drops to the triple. Unbelievably confident there in mid. Snappi will follow up on Hadji, and this round is done.
14 seconds it took to get 4 kills there from ENCE without any response whatsoever. That was so pacey, so in your face and aggressive from maden down there from the mid control. Gets a couple of players over to the bridge. Masuta's doing well to try and make it as costly as possible, but only gets a couple. That pace was set from maden, and then Snappi backs him up in ramp.
Been an exciting game so far here from ENCE. Falcons, they have been able to respond respectably themselves, so don't count them out. Of course, 4-3, the ENCE side have the advantage by a single round difference, and of course the buyback will be afforded by the Falcons getting 3 rounds in a row. The fact that one man shut them out towards mid, has removed all sort of workability in that round, indicates some bad signs. Python, however, will address that. Get the kill out towards mid as maden forces forward for a second time, but doesn't get nearly as much success.
Try and keep that pressure on, down towards that bottom of ramp position. Maka looking to try and see if he can find that follow-up response. Hadji taking quite a bit of damage as he has to fall back to safety. And Snappi keeping those nades down. ENCE want to maintain the control of ramp.
Nades sent back. Maka's watching. Positions held. Falcons will back off initially, regress towards ramp. Still got some Pius holding it. Orp also himself repositioned, try to find a better position to play off of. An angle against the Orp of Maka. Can't see him as a tight angle, a pixel to work with. Now we'll see them and take a shot.
It's good information, and even this HE placement could do quite a bit of damage. The jump down gets so much down.
Python and Masuta now tagged from very high to less than half and less than 40 in one case. Shot onto NBK's head. That's a tight one to hit. And some Pies sticking around as well. 4-on-4, seeing them make their way out. Quick scope in, does not quite catch a kill, does not quite take the shot. Masuta could be denied. Swing from the AWP of the T side. More damage done through the wall bang. Not quite the kill, though, and Masuta can punish it.
ENCE very slow to get into retaking positions. They've got a backstab coming through from the bottom of ramp and an idea that Python could be up there on the railing.
Doesn't seem just yet, though. Pixels to abuse. Valde gets Masuta. The backstab starts to close in. Finally, Snappi gets that casualty advantage. Tips the way of ENCE. Maka tries to hold on. Hadji does so too. Turn around the first, not the second, as the defuse will come through, and it will be a 5th round for ENCE. I
honestly did not expect this game to be as scrappy and chaotic as it actually is. 5-3, it's back and forth. It's a lot of hits coming through from Falcons on the post plant, but Sunpie is showing us some good form with that AWP, getting as much out of that important pick as possible, because you got to consider the fact that Falcons had the opening man advantage. They dealt with maden in that last round.
The first tactical called in by the Falcons camp. Set back by those 2-round margins. ENCE coming out with confidence in them, and of course the economy takes a hit for it on the T side. Money bonus has been gained by the bomb plant, but do they force around it here?
I don't think so. I think they buy quite lightly. I can't expect to see a force in this sort of situation. You want to keep the pressure on when it comes to the economy of your opposition, but you've also got to be thinking about yourselves, and forcing down here would be a massive risk.
With a half buy instead.
I like it.
NBK's gone quite heavy-handed with his half invest, less than $1,000. But it is kind of in line with the upgrade pistols, the Kevlar, the helmets. Falcons can recover that money if they get a bomb plant as well, which isn't impossible. Of course, in that last series, we saw some stellar stuff from the Tech 9s. Three of them are in play, so let's see what the Falcons will try to replicate. Snappi doesn't want to let MBK walk very far forward. Masuta will punish him, but Haji falls in trade. 4 on 3, and Valde taking some more damage. Minimal amounts done here by the T's. Flash and smoke with incendiary support. Valde trying to get out of the way. They think they might have escaped towards the side, but instead he sits on the railing, gets a kill, looks for Maka. He's right there, pushed up in the corner, and does finally get a trade back. An M4 now in his hands, but 3 other CTs to get here.
And this incendiary is just doing so much damage onto Maka, and now the HG is going to come through from DR. Subpious into the mix. And while you look at that from Valde and say, well, he only got a couple of kills, he does so much work there from the sandbags on time stalling and distraction. It brings so many more players of ENCE into bomb sighting positions to establish that utility, to get Subpious aggressive to the front side of alley. 6-3, this is looking confident from ENCE. It's whether they can keep it up.
It's 3 to the good. Setting up for the quick, fast initial defaults in. The Mac 10 of Haji might turn into a rush play. Subpious' orb, however, puts him out of commission. Doubles up on Masuta as well. The bomb facing in, the second man forward. A 5 on 3 found. They're going to try to boost that AWP or that M4 up. MBK should sneak the plant into the midst of the smoke. Shouldn't be denied here with no vision. The nades will come close, do some damage. At least there's a bit of money going the way of Falcons, and now a kill for Maka.
Python's got to step up late round. He's the mid lurk. He's got to come in through the distraction.
Incendiary sense spray through, damage done. Dia and Valde come up good, and Python's backstab doesn't have the bomb in his sights. They're going to charge down a sight. You can get the backstab spray on towards 2. There comes the first. Second kill not going to be allowed as Valde maintains his life. Stalls time for Dia, who's on the defuse already. Python can't do much here. Just sticking it down, holding the defuse in the round. The 7th to the board of ENCE as they extend their lead even further.
And this is where you've got to expect an MBK special. We saw how disciplined and deadly he could be when he's entering up towards the top of ramp into that A site. We haven't seen much from that in a few rounds now. And you feel there for Python, because if he gets more assistance from his teammates that are actually in that 3v4, you can imagine that backstab's going to be successful. Instead, you're in a 1v4 when the bomb's not planted for you. There's just no chance in the round. Not at all in that position.
The first tactical used by ENCE here. Seeing the pressure, allowing that backstab to come together. But honestly, very well dealt with. I'm kind of surprised that they went for a tactical in this set of circumstances. Maybe if they lose around, it would be better for them, but they've taken that decision. Must realize that there's going to be a buyback here from the Falcons camp. Money bonus with the bomb plant will enable the buy up. AKs across the board, no AWP. But I don't think that'll be a problem.
Just staying composed, ENCE, realizing the fact that we could really be on for a one-sided first half, maybe 10-5, 11-4, that sort of margin. Subpious for the opening pick towards Crane, gets it once again. He is stepping up.
Oh, I did ask the question when he's going to start to look comfortable. He's looking pretty comfortable right here. Took a few rounds to get going, but now he's only a couple behind the top fragger of Valde. 5 on 3 situation, barely even any damage done to Snappi is the next player to get the kill. He's going to hunt for Maka. Not quite win that fight. Second face will give him the kill.
And Python trying to see if he can start masking some offensive out here towards the B side. Get that molly down to quad. Try and force a player out into the open.
What's up, Python leaning in. Burst through. Maden trying to look for a couple picks back, and D gets them both. D the only sacrifice. Falcons getting borderline nothing out of that round.
And this is where things get drastically uncomfortable for Falcons. Not a lot has been working for them on the T side. Subpious with these AWP opening kills has been electric, and we saw that in the game up against Heat yesterday. Dropped 23 frags, 11 deaths, nearly 90 ADR, and a 1.47 rating. We know that he's been on some good form. It's whether that's going to continue forward, and Falcons, they just can't deal with him. That's the problem.
They won't be dealing with him here in this round. Hero AK with pistols and a half invest. More than an eco, really. Tough slog so far here for the T side. ENCE have won the half, and they're looking for maybe even a lot more than that. Look at Dia, just out-positioning them so well. With the back of a Maden, the SMG can get a pretty easy frag double up alongside Maden's double. And Python a 1 versus 5. This is decimation now from ENCE.
This is welcome to Tier 1, I think, is what's being addressed right now here from ENCE. Falcons playing in a different league, a different class. We saw that within IP and B&E in that last game. And so many times, these tier 2 teams want the opportunity, want the jump to land, and you'll take it any day of the week. But when you go up against some of the best in the world, there are very good chances that you get slammed. There are not many games where you can hold your weight. And for Falcons, the way that we saw them play against K23 in yesterday's game is nowhere near the Falcons we're seeing today.
Six to the good. If Falcons have a comeback in them, it's going to have to start relatively soon, honestly. Ideally, you make this back to a 9-6 half and you work with something going into the CT side. At least the first kill has been found on Maden. The Haji tagged so low, close to Trey, and Maka revealing his position. Information gained by ENCE. Advantage maintained by the Falcons.
Valde and Snappi just constantly spamming bullets, putting the pressure consistently down to the bottom of ramp. At least there's an opening. At least Python's been able to start it off on Kilter. But it's whether they can muster up around victory, even with a 5v4 situation, because they've had this previously, and it was Maden to drop in that last round where they had it.
Minute on the clock. The walking around the ladder room, going to try and backstab in against the T side. I mean, here's that utility, made no noise on that drop. Snappi, the forward man, they're not going to aggress the catch of Masuta in the back. NBK with the blind spray, the smoke starts to clear, and now he's a dead man. Haji similar, Python next to the triple, and Snappi just lines him up and knocks him down bit by bit, piece by piece. Maka's got no chance. It's 10-3.
And just something to add as well, while we were so impressed by some of those multi-fragging rounds from MBK, he was 8-2, Jay. He's now 8-11. And when you're not getting more consistency out of him, you're not getting much out of Haji, who was the top performer against K23. When you're not getting much out of your AWP of Maka, you know the struggles are going to be there, and these multi-frags just coming in so consistently. Dycha with that backstab, that wraparound play to get down the ladder, in for a pick, right back up, and then Snappi just to be able to be that initial defense from ramp. So successful.
I hate to be that guy, Dwayne, when I have a feeling the series might already be over.
Really? Didn't feel like that like 3 or 4 rounds ago?
At that point, it was still workable.
Okay.
This time, however, ENCE have come into their own. They've had a couple of very confident rounds, and Falcons, in that last one especially, started strong, and then they gave a bit of breathing room, and ENCE just took a mile. Sucked up all the air, put out the flames. Half buy for round 14. Should be number 15 when we see the buy. At that point, it's best case for Falcons 11-4. ENCE hunting for 12-3 in what would be one of the more dominating halves we've seen so far.
And Falcons will be kicking themselves because we've had 2 rounds in this first half where they've had 5v4s, where they've dealt with Maden and not turned it into a round victory. You just get punished so much more in the tier 1 atmosphere than you do in tier 2, and it's coming back to bite Falcons.
Dycha's AK with a Tech 9. Sees him above the smoke. Headshot as it starts to fade. Maden. Incendiary up towards Scaff. The Molotov from Maka actually burning him in the back, and he wasn't even ready for that to come through. Some pious, his AWP does land MBK. Take his face off with that shot. Haji catches volley, quick switching, so a bit more damage than maybe the CTs were expecting, but looks like they'll lock down the round anyway. Maka alone now towards that B site. D is watching for it. To some extent, but at this stage in the game, it's really about taking away those AKs. 3 alive, 11-3. ENCE. I'll go into the last round of the half.
And knowing that for Falcons, this is the most played map in the entire pool from them. 3 wins, 5 losses, 8 maps in the last 3 months. They have a round win percentage of 47.2 on that T side, Jay. So we're kind of expecting somewhere in the ballpark of 7 to 8 rounds. The maximum that they'll be able to get from this point onwards is 4. That is drastically low from them.
At least they have the buy to do it, and it will be a consolation prize if nothing else. But Maden just lines him up through the smoke. Double dinks on Masuta and MBK. Kills on both. And that might already be the round sealed. Dycha just looking for Python. Gets him. It's 12-3.
Snappi aggressing down from ramp, even with a teammate. Haji and Maka looking to try and see if they can punish some level of picks, but even the AWP doesn't come through, and there it is, 12-3. That was a walk in the park when it looked like it was going to be competitive at the start of the map.
Yeah, welcome to the big leagues, Falcons. Decimation from ENCE and sheer confidence towards the turn of that CT side. It might be recoverable on the defensive half, but there's got to be a lot of work put in by Falcons from the word go. So they'll take this little break, and we'll come back to see what they can do. Dominant from ENCE so far. Finally, Sun Pius has come into his zone, and while the eye test might say he's looking fantastic, the numbers, Blake, say that he's not the only one.
Oh, this has been an overall classing performance in that first half from ENCE. To think that dycha is right up at the top there with 16 frags and Sun Pius is down at the lowest at 11 shows the impact across the board from ENCE. Have a look at the Falcon side. No one's even on double digits. It's not even close.
This has not been a fun matchup for them. Definitely a major setback to MBK's plan. Python will try see if they can take a step forward for his team. ENCE set with the pistol, expecting aggression. They've read this so well. Turn away from the flash. Python makes his way out and isolated by all three of the cross-firing. The firing squad takes him down. Valde draws out first blood, and Masuta and MBK are hoping for aggression to get the trade, but nothing's coming their way.
Yeah, they still want to hold right up close and personal. Masuta finally going to start backing off, but he's going to try and fake the sound cues, wants to draw them out into the open. And for ENCE, they've got so much time on their side.
Masuta tapping up tapping up Valde, doing damage on both those individuals, but the kills just still not coming through for the Falcons. Slowly, ENCE chip away at the map control, take the lower stairs. Snappi prodding towards mid, might get caught off by Maka. Trade attempt not found. Snappi can't quite win the fight, but neither can Maka the same. They'll go back and forth, and the headshot comes in for the Glock.
And now they've still got a smoke and a flash to get them into B, and MBK's left the post. He's got aggressive into mid to try and deal with Snappi instead.
Needs to do so, else they're just going to be able to run free. Backstab in against the entire retaking CT4, so that's been dealt with. And now he's got to turn his attention on the defensive. He was great on his entries on the T side. Now he's got to step up right here and now on the defensive line, but just can't seem to manage the mantle of maden. Masuta and Haji, 2 players versus 4. Yes, tagged up on Dia and Valde. But ENCE have the bomb down, now they set up for the post plant.
And they've got to start even coming through with the idea of the save call. 2v4, is it really worth it? Try and get that force up, keep the Kevlar in play. They're going to try and act around the AC, try and get them through into the site. Dia with a couple of kills and just a rollover in that round. Falcons only coming away with 1 of that single lurker of Snappi. 13-3. To consider the idea that it was 3-3, that it was a 3-0, that it was answered back with 3 rounds, that it's been 10 in a row from ENCE. And to be honest, Jay, there aren't many of those 10 rounds that looked massively competitive or looked like there was a chance for Falcons.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the reason why I said it was kind of done at 10-3. It's like not only are ENCE dominating these 10 in a row, it's like just so many dominating rounds. So many rounds where Falcons don't even get a look in. That's the key concern. That's the key thing that's holding me back from believing in a comeback, especially with the pistol gone now. It gets even harder. Force invest here. Eco for the next 15-3. That's what the forecast says right now.
Rough day for Falcons. And when we consider what we heard from MBK in the interview, talking about how he's very confident, wants to try and take on the top-level competition, I think this is going to slap them back into reality ever so slightly and say, okay, we might be able to hold our weight against the Tier 2 teams, but once we face some of the best teams in the world, we've got to adapt. We've got to be different in our play style because this cannot continue.
$60 seconds. Python. Good shot. Something to respond with here for the Falcons. Burning out to the back lat. The Eagle continues facing. Gets domed in by the nade. MBK flashing to try and get some sort of support. Might have hurt the Falcons more so. And maden now from the boost is detected by the spray back of the Galil. 4-on-3, making it 3-on-3 actually. Haji does get a 5-7 shot back towards the likes of Snappi. Masuta in on Valde turns the advantage now for the Falcons here. maden waiting. Haji swings, gets domed in. Maka with a responsive, and actually this might still turn the way of Falcons. maden now suddenly alone and known by the CTs. Masuta caught with a headshot, but Maka Scout hits the shot itself. No kit in. Got to get on the defuse right now. I think he'll just have about enough time for this. It might be a little bit close.
Got it.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Don't worry. 4th round for the Falcons, and you're right. It is a lifeline indeed.
It's just some leverage to work with. Now, the unfortunate situation here is that you've given up a bomb plant. There's only 1 player alive. Now, typically, you don't have to force it. You're not double eco. But ENCE are looking at this like you're 13-4 up. And it doesn't matter if you need to force or not, you're going to do it anyway. You've got a lot of confidence under your belt. You want to rip back in. You want to eliminate all of the chances that Falcons have of establishing a comeback.
Something to return here for the Frenchman. Opportunities now abound. Flashes in. maden's Mac 10. Makes the move in towards the side. Breakthrough from Masuta. Gets 1, 2, not quite 3. Dia does get dealt with by Python. So Falcons hold the line confidently without allowing any chance for ENCE to shut this whole thing down. Force by failed. Some pious left to fall.
Okay, this is some breathing room for Falcons to work with now. You've got yourself a very convincing round, one that has not come through for quite a while. And some pious is in a 1v4 just to try and take some weapons out of play. Falcons looking up to their 5th and looking to try and see if they can establish even more when it comes to rounds in a row.
Nade to 5 HP. Bullet to 0 HP. There it is, 5th round for the Falcons. At least they have responded to that pistol round with great effect, forcing the force buy. Now down to the full reset eco. Looks like we might still see a little something from Falcons, but you mentioned that 13-4 situation. They've got so many rounds to make up, so much breathing room for ENCE, of course. Could take this on the chin, go to the next guns, do whatever they want until they get that 14th. Break them effectively on the Falcons if that rifle goes the way of the ENCE side.
Well, when I look back at the game against Heat yesterday, ENCE managed a 9-6 first half on their city side. Moving into the second, they only lost 2 rounds. So one thing that we know is that they don't take long to close out games.
A bit longer than what was anticipated, though, for this one. ENCE. Pistols v rifles, again, harsh eco for them. Footsteps being heard on the jumps up for maden. So they might account for the wallbang soon. MBK, meanwhile, makes his move in, doesn't want to get too impatient, but does force the issue anyway down towards Rab. Now the rest of the team's been seen.
And Falcons have got plenty of players over here towards the B site, so there should be no way in which even the bomb crosses up towards the side to think about getting planted. Valde gets away with one. Masuda's still aggressive. It's going to drop everyone. 6 now on for the French side. 7 to the difference. ENCE going to focus up on that initial rifle round. Not quite enough money to get an AWP in play, so probably just an AK for some players.
Seven to the good for ENCE. Mentioned the guns coming in for the team sideline. We'll see those AKs in full. And Falcons doing whatever they can here on the ENCE camp and now look towards the rest of the comeback. Again, 7 to make up. Masuda will not make up anything against Valde. Quick swing towards mid. That's a headshot and a kill.
It's dry and it's quick. And now dycha's trying to see if he can prod out towards the B stairs. This trigger discipline's good from Python. This could actually allow so much more and information to be found that it's only a lurk at B.
Just looking for that one frag that he's going to get in this case. Meanwhile, maden's found his own backstab. In out towards the side alley. Gets the kill on Haji. Maka, his AWP lands a leg shot. Second player could be a concern, but maden's still fragging. MBK gets his 2. Back to a 2-on-2. Swing back to Snappi is a bit more risky and will cost him his life. Leave it to Python now to clutch.
At least he's got nades. HE and Incendiary, if it gets placed down onto maden, could do a lot of damage. A 1v2, the young man trying to see if he could step up to the challenge.
He's let the bomb go down safely, so no contention there. Boost angles, Incendiary sent towards the sandbags, of course. No one's there, so won't do much for it. Nades coming out towards the side alley position. Again, won't land. Smoke on the bomb. Will he go for the ninja? He's got 5 seconds of the kit. In the smoke, taps it. maden forced out. Damage being done to Python. He doesn't get that kill. Finally swings, but loses his life anyway. And that's 14 now for ENCE.
Yeah, maden very happy about that one. And there's just so much going on in that round. Valde with the opening kill towards mid. You've got the response being found from Python out to the B stairs. And then maden is somehow able to walk up alley into yellow towards default without even taking a duel. Then he starts finding those connections. MBK towards the top of the ramp is finding a strong multi-frag himself, but it's not enough. ENCE Titan, and now it's only 2 more rounds. (14-6). And the comeback gets much more difficult for Falcons. The swing and a hit. Perfect shot to MBK. Kicks things off. Just an outclassing. You could see it with just some of the duels here in the second half. And there it is. 5v3 within the first 30 seconds. It's so quick that ENCE are able to establish early advantages.
Leaning in for maden's part of the AWP. Maka going to fire back over the sandbag. Snappi spray does not line up on Haji. Barely gets it together. The AWP now known above the orange box of the central site. 4-on-3 situation. Falcons desperate to find a trade to a man advantage. Haji's going to get sandwiched in by the T's and the Incendiary. There's some pipes with the kill back. 2 left standing. Maka's orb flashed off by Masuda does get 1. And Maka goes falling. Last player standing. Headshot not quite lined up. Now they can take that bomb and commit it to the B sites.
They know exactly where Masuda is. Try and keep that pressure down with the nades, but you're right about that rotation. dycha already starting to move out towards B. And for Masuda, what option do you have? I think you have to go for the clutch.
I mean, it's not an impossibly winnable clutch here. I mean, look, that HP bars on ENCE are so low. I don't know how much info Masuda has to that. I think you're right about that call. They're going to have to commit to it just to get something on the board. You'll be forcing back into the next round anyway. So Masuda fancies his chances to just get the exit frag on the Sun Pius. Grab the AWP. 20 HP, though. I think ENCE might hunt this down.
And just knowing that ENCE have put themselves up to 15, it's about closing down. And Falcons, with the money state where they are, this AWP in play can actually make quite a big difference for someone like Maka, who again has not been able to have one of the best games. Down there at single digits. They need an X Factor player. They need someone to dig them deep out of this hole.
Who's it going to be, though? Not many great options. You mentioned the numbers spread across each other between the turn of the half. The Suter has started to pull away from the numbers of the rest of his teammates, but even that's only 15 kills versus the myriad of frags. ENCE's bottom fraggers are within that sort of general position. 9 match points. ENCE are in full control. Falcons know it. How much can they snatch back from them? AWP in, SMGs for Mars 5-7, no M4s, and now no AWP.
And that's another one of these early entries, 20 seconds into the round. That's the AWP dealt with. Haji with this MP9, he's desperate for a response, anything.
Doesn't see Snappi as the smoke starts to phase behind the girders. Smokes down onto position. They'll keep their eyes set onto this. It's Snappi and maden get the kills on the backside. Masuta caught off. That's maden with a triple. And that should be this one done and dusted as ENCE look towards their 2-0. The Falcons only a matter of time before Python is found and dead in the round. There it is. Victory for the international squad as the French get decimated, as you mentioned. A rough day for them as they concede the match.
And now this is 2 French teams in a row, 16-8 up against Heat and 16-6 up against Falcons. ENCE not tested at all in the opening couple of best of ones, and now looking to the best of threes. They are a real threat.
It's encouraging, and even then I don't even think we've seen the best of the ENCE side. Still looking to try and enable those roster moves and become the quick team formation that we've seen.